First, we have an Alocasia regal shield. I've had this plant for roughly about 3 years now. I've purchased this at my local nursery from where I used to live before I moved over to the Pacific Northwest. But this alocasia is easily one of my favorite alocasias. The foliage is just beautifully balanced in the way of its dark foliage with the deep purple blushing that seems to harmonize with the green veining of the leaves in the back. In addition to the arrowhead shaped leaves, it's just truly, truly a gorgeous plant. I've had this in Leca for about, I'd say around the same time I've got it. So roughly 3 years or so, or maybe a bit under 3 years. And it's been doing really great for me. The root system has established so well. There's currently a new leaf that's emerging. I know that typically alocasias sort of stay in a low leaf count. They don't really carry more than a handful of leaves at once. However, there were more leaves originally on this alocasia, but I recently cut them off just due to the sizing and the overly stretched petiole. But yeah, this is likely one of my all-time favorite alocasias so far. So next we have the Parisio verde. This is one of my favorite philodendrons because it's such an unchallenging plant. I've purchased this from Etsy not too long ago. I'd say around the summertime of this year. I immediately transferred it over to Leca, and surprisingly, it took really well to semi hydroponics without any shock. I didn't have to deal with any yellowing leaves, any dying leaves. I didn't have to develop any water roots before transferring it over to semi hydroponics. So I'm totally happy about that. It's also pushed out so much new growth for me in the short amount of time that I've had it. So one of my favorite plants for sure. Because when I received this plant, when this plant arrived, it only came with three small leaves, and now we're pretty much here, and it's a really heavy. I just can't wait to see this plant get massive and just keeps expanding. I'm just excited to see what this plant will look like in about a year or 2 years from now. Totally one of my most liked philodendrons of all time. And lastly, the also beautiful monstera Thai constellation. The variegation on this Thai constellation is really what sold me with the section of this cream coloration with just the right balance of speckles. I know that Thai constellation's variegation isn't likely to overturn, like it has maintained equilibrium or it just stays stable for the most part. So pretty much what you see is what you get when you purchase Thai constellations. And I knew that I didn't want one that was highly variegated, but I also didn't want one that was majority green. One that had like a nice counterbalance of cream and green coloration, because usually the starter Thai constellations that were available didn't have the variegation I was looking for. But when I came across this Thai constellation, it was just totally perfect. So I had to pull the trigger and finally add one into my collection, and I'm so happy that I did. I have this in my customized soilless aeroid mix with no drainage, like majority of my plants. Um, so I'm just impatiently waiting for some new growth on this guy. However, I'd much rather have some patience since it's a really special plant for me. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite plants, probably in my entire collection. It's truly one of a kind, and I am so happy to say that I am a Thai constellation owner now.